What's up, Unlaced fam? Today we have with us Rosario Rios Aguilar, the one and only,
AKA the Chad.
the Chad.
The Chad. Chad is, I need to pull out my notes for what Chad is.
Yes.
Chad is, she has a master's from Long Beach State. She has a CSCS. She has a USA weightlifting. I'm assuming that's weightlifting, not wrestling. USA weightlifting certificate, USA track and field level 2, CrossFit level 3, sports performance and movement specialist.
Wow.
And DRS Athletics owner and director of training.
Wow. So what don't you do?
You know, I'm not very good at braiding hair.
Okay. It has to be one thing you say for someone else.
Yeah, I want to learn though. I want to learn. Well, you guys are making me sound super good over there. I was telling Kiddo, I'm my worst sports agent ever. I'm like, hi. And that's it.
I understand.
Yeah.
It can be tough to give your credentials. When you have an entire book of credentials, that can be tough.
Look at you all bashful. Well, we'll get into, I'll talk a tad more about you so you can like grace us with your stories. So Chad was born and raised in Chiapas in Mexico. Thank you. Okay. I got that, Chiapas, where she was a child superstar. She was like one of Chiapas' greatest of all time with boxing, kickboxing, track and field, basketball. I mean, well, tell us about just growing up in Chiapas and your stardom.
So I think I was more like, it started all back in a little town. So Chiapas is where my mom and my mom's side's from, right? Mm-hmm. So Mexico City is where my dad's side is. So I was there quite a bit. So it's very different, two different worlds. Mm. And so, you know, in Chiapas, you just play. You play, you climb, you swim, you throw rocks, you pick them up, you just have fun. And I picked up Taekwondo with my brother, and then sports, swimming, basketball, soccer. Those were my main thing, like martial arts. And that's how it started. Wow. Just playing, you just play everything.
Just go outside and play.
Go outside and play and climb that tree, and then, climb the next one, get a tamarind, get a mango. So that's how it was.
That's what we do. All right. I love it.
Want some mangoes? Okay, go climb that tree.
Just the superior athlete.
That's how you develop your skills. So if you think about it, right, you're just climbing, okay, you're pulling, you're pushing, all that stuff. So soccer, we play with, you guys remember the juices? Well, I don't know if you guys have them down here, but there's juices that when you squish them, they became like a little triangle thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was like a soccer ball sometimes, kind of play. So you develop that coordination, and then you develop that, like your feet can do more stuff, because like this little triangle compared to a soccer ball.
Right.
I just went cross-eyed. I'm like that. But yeah, so that's how I started, just playing, and then being around my brothers, my cousins, had tons of male cousins, female cousins, and more that I could count with both my feet and my hands. So that's how you get playing.
Okay. So then tell us about how you journeyed over here and when and what cultural and language barriers that you may have seen or had to overcome as you transitioned over here.
Okay. So this is a funny story.
Uh-oh.
When I moved from Chiapas to Mexico City to live with my dad, because I was playing basketball there, I was at a pretty high level there. And my mom got a scholarship to come here to the Americas, to United States of America. I was in all-girls school there, and it was a private school, and they were teaching you, English, and they wanted to teach French and Spanish. And to be honest, I didn't like other languages as much, like math or science. So I remember not really being into the English class. So I would just, perhaps switch my homework with someone that didn't like math, and then, make it work. And I remember when I first came here, it was 1999, August 29, 1999. And everyone's speaking English, right? We arrived in San Francisco and everyone started talking English and everything. I was like, oh man, I should have not done that trading. I was like, oh my God. because I hated it so bad then, but how much I needed it here, right?
Yes.
Until I arrived and I was like, oh, I have no idea. I only know colors, maybe numbers, bathroom. But bathroom, I remember this in Europe, Steph, where it was WC. That's your bathroom.
Excuse me?
Yeah, so that was crazy because the college we went to, the initials were Dub C. So you and I would both wear our college shorts to our practices in Europe, and the kids would like point and laugh at us. And we're like, what are these kids laughing at? You're like, y'all got bathroom shorts.
Clowning, right? Clown on your head.
We're like, Dub C. So that's how we got to the United States, through my mom. She was a teacher and she got a scholarship, and she was gonna bring us for a year and just introduce us to a different world. And then she ended up, staying here longer because she got that prolonged. It was an internship and then a scholarship, and then she just kept getting better and helping people in what she was doing as a teacher.
Love it.
And we were like, I guess we're staying. And I've been here longer than I have been back home now.
That's
I know.
crazy to think about.
I was like, what?
Wow, that is exciting. So how old were you?
I was 13.
Wow.
And you knew no English.
That is a tough age to transition to the States.
Yes.
Not knowing English.
Teenage.
Oh, girl. So how was that? Did you go to a private or a public school?
Oh, this one, when I came to the United States? Oh, no, straight to public, right? Yeah. It was, okay, so it was 8th grade going into my 9th grade. And it was cultural shock for sure. First of all, I never gotten food served to us in Mexico for like cafeteria. You know how you get.
Okay.
So I was like taking my lunch. My mom was making lunch. And then I remember the first time we got to the cafeteria and they were serving us. And then, you go in a line and they served me this little corn dog that I didn't know at the time it was a corn dog. And I'm like, what is this? I wanted tacos, quesadillas, something, And then fries with this melted yellow thing. And I'm like, what is that? And then I see everyone kind of like dipping it in the ketchup and eating it. And I'm like, okay. And so I did that. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I got a corn dog, fried
Welcome.
Food. Yeah. And I was like, this is delicious. And then they were like, oh, cheese. I was like, oh, that's cheese on my fries? Oh, delicious.
Wow.
I had never had that. So that was a food shock, but also cultural shock. I didn't know anything people would say. Just kind of like point or okay, or my name is, and I wouldn't say my name is Rosario. I would say like Chatty, and then they thought it was like Chatty, but I wouldn't talk because I didn't know any English.
So they're like, you're not Chatty.
Oh, you're not Chatty. What's your actual name? Yeah, man, it was tough. It was a tough first year for sure.
Oh my goodness.
And were you playing sports at the time?
So at that point, before I came, I was at the highest level in the national level for basketball in Mexico City with my dad. He was my coach at the time. And my vision was I want to play in the US, but also for soccer. So I was at a pretty high, I was playing soccer. And I knew soccer here for women was huge, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Over there is like not as much at the time. And so that was my goal, to just be professional down here. But that first year, it was not like, my level kind of went down because I didn't know where to go. Middle school ball wasn't like all that. So during PE, I remember I wanted to like ball it up and like get a workout in, and everyone was just like, oh, run a mile and then you just stretch. So I was really kind of disappointed in a way because I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I didn't know like there was travel ball. I didn't know. So I would just like do pickup games at the park or whatever I could find, but I didn't have any guidance until high school. Yeah.
Then comes high school, where it's even tougher, right? It's tougher. A girl going into high school, because girls in high school, you can be cute, have friends, you're in cliques, all those components. And then if you want to play sports, you're like the popular one in school. How did you get through all that water?
Oh man. So I graduated at a pretty high level with my honors in all my science and all my math. My reading and my English was just not caught up with that. So going into high school, I didn't want to stay in Oakland because we were living in Oakland. So I didn't want to go to Oakland Unified School because I heard that Berkeley High School had a really good basketball team. And I'm like, I need to be there, right? And so my mom did her magic and applied all these things to put me in the Chicano studies in Berkeley High School. I was like, yeah. So she made it happen because we were living in Oakland. There's nowhere you're going to Berkeley if you're in Oakland.
Hold on. Can we give it up for mom one time?
Let's go.
Can we give mom her flowers?
Doing it.
Like what?
Yeah. She put in the work, so we applied, we made it happen. So freshman year in Berkeley High School, you're right. Everyone has little cliques and it's a pretty awesome school. Berkeley High School is a pretty awesome school. And I walk in the gym and I remember I was like, oh, these girls could ball. Like I just knew right away. And they were really, really at a top level during those years for both the male and the female team, but females were kicking butt. So I just walked on. I asked the coach, hey, but also that's the thing though. I didn't have any cliques because I didn't know anybody. And also I was going through ESL. I was in enough full-on English academic school just through my math and science, not through English. So I'm over there like, can I play kind of thing, whatever I could do. And then I remember the coach saying, well, can you ball? I'm like, yeah. I just say, yeah. And I was like, okay. And this was through PE. So that wasn't even the actual team.
Oh, no. Wait, hold on. The PE teacher got on you talking about, can you ball?
Yeah. So
talking about level up in your presidential fitness.
I'm like, so this is not the actual team that could ball because these are pretty good girls. No, it wasn't. It was some of them, but not all of them. So then, through the PE, I started getting seen or whatever. And then I got into a tryout with the actual team. But it was crazy.
How'd that go?
I think I got a little bit of a pushback because of my language barrier there. But hey, you make baskets, you don't need to talk, right? You play defense, you don't really talk. But when it came to certain logistics, like plays and things like that, I was like, ugh. And so I was just like very visual.
Yes.
Because some little things I wouldn't understand, but the logistics, okay, defense, I have to go there. Okay, I got it. So it was more of this, right? And then I started to pick up this slang. It was a lot of slang during that. I mean, think about it. Oakland, Berkeley, the hella, the this and that.
Yes.
So I started to try and pick up that. I would pick up the dictionary and just look at a word and then find it on slang and say like, okay, just every night. Because if not, it's like, what is hella? Then I would ask my cousins because they live there. I'm like, right now I say that.
Right.
But that was tough because my little clique was the ESL. It was kind of the rejects, it's like people that came from India, Mexico, Salvador, Africa, Ethiopian. I have Ethiopian friends that were awesome. Their food was great, but we were not the same people as them, right?
Right.
And so that was tough. But once on the game, it's on the game. Like you don't have to worry about.
That's it. It's one language, right? That's the beautiful thing about sports.
Right. So it's like you show up and you just say, yes, coach, yes, sir. And then you go.
So at what point did you feel like you were starting to pick up the culture and the language? And was it in high school? Did you ever feel like, okay, I think I'm getting a rhythm here?
I honestly think it was not in high school at all. Took me a minute because then I moved to LA where my dad was.
Okay.
And then I was still kind of like, oh. And then in LA, Pico Rivera, Whittier, then there's more Spanish speaking. So then I was like, oh. Then I couldn't get too comfortable there because then you never telling the other way. So I honestly don't think I started to get the rhythm of that until my community college. So at Rio Hondo.
Okay.
And once that we were at Whittier, it took me a minute in terms of just being myself without having to accommodate so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. You were definitely still picking up the culture in college when I met you.
Yeah,
we were still trying to convince you as a junior in college why you had to wear shoes in public. Like what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking through Vons with your toes out.
It's just like you just want to feel the earth.
In the produce section at the grocery store.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I would definitely vouch that it took some time.
Yeah. Now, you just gotta be you, but also understand like how it works.
Mm-hmm. During that time, like when people come over here, they say they want to live the American dream, right? For whoever that's meant for.
Yeah.
During that time, like your dream was to play professionally. Wasn't ever a time where you're like, I can't do this. Like, this is way too difficult. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
During a lot of times, even before college and all that stuff, I think through high school, those high school times where, you have your dream of you're going to play professional, you're going to do this. And you start to wonder, okay, why? Or what are they doing that I'm not doing? Or how did they get there? Right. And then you start to hear, it kind of sucks because you start to hear people kind of pull you away from that. It's like, oh no, the WNBA doesn't pay them as much. They don't really,
right.
So you start to feel almost negative, but you're like, no, it shouldn't feel like that, because what you want, it's going to be tough. There's going to be challenges. But then it started to transform in different ways where like, I wanted to be a professional and maybe that wasn't going to happen. Like when we play overseas, I wanted to stay and continue playing. Then I started thinking maybe that's going to transform into my professional career, giving back and paying it forward. So that still is going to be something I wanted to do, even though if it's not the WNBA or, soccer, like professional soccer or like track. So I was able to, I guess, transform it.
Definitely redirect it. When you finally come to the points like, okay, I did the professional. Now what?
Yeah.
I want to be involved. I want to stay connected.
Yeah. I think when we were in Europe together, I realized that you only play so much, right? And then you're away from your family. Important. And then it's like, then what? If I don't come back and do my degree, okay, that's fine. But then I'm going to be 40 and then still playing. And then I'm not going to have anything behind me,
Yeah. Kind of starting over again.
At that point is like, okay, would you want to, you have to be selfish in a way to reach certain things. And how long are you going to continue to feel that way?
Right.
Right. It's like, you're going to be selfish for the rest of your life to get
there.
Like you guys understand that, right? Because you have to stop going to birthdays. You can't go to this event because you have to train. You have to go to sleep.
Girl.
No. And then you start to go from like here to like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that and not be part of my family or people I care about any longer. Like, that's more important. And that's what became my professional goal.
Mindset. So you went through high school, went through college. So I'm assuming you did well in college because you had an opportunity to play overseas with this one here. What was that experience like for you guys?
But we have to come back to that.
Okay.
But first in college, what I think was impressive is that how she was an incredible athlete. And we actually, the first time we met, I think was the first time we met someone equally as fast as each other. So it was kind of like this conditioning showdown. It's like we're doing our conditioning against each other.
You correct?
Oh,
yeah. Gosh. But even more impressive beyond her athletic ability was her expertise in the classroom, which I didn't have. I was there to play sports and she was there to get an education. We had all the same classes because we had the same major, and I'm trying to sit in the back and she's like bringing me to the front. And I'm like, I've never sat in the front. And then it's just that perspective was good for me because I'm looking at you who you're learning English and a college education at the same time.
Wow.
And I'm just sitting here not taking advantage of it. I'm just here trying to
take
play
it for
sports.
granted. We do.
So I think that was even more impressive to me. It kind of kicked me in gear. But yeah, and then we went overseas, and you can ask.
First, I appreciate that, But another shout out to my parents, my dad and my mom. Because they did instill the education and being into that. They did instill that in me, because also my high school, I didn't do as good as I knew I could do. So then it's like, okay, you have a chance here of community college and then having a great degree from a great place. Whittier College has great education. And then you're like, okay, you have to apply yourself because you can, but also you have this opportunity. Your parents are working hard, you're working hard, and your teammates and stuff. But that's funny that you mentioned that, because Steph is extremely intelligent and smart, right? She just had to stay focused and apply herself. And we both could be super hyper. I mean, we could go on and on with our stories of our classroom. But at that point, I had already kind of gathered that from the high school days. And so when we would have like biomechanics and stuff, I'm like, sit right here. And it just allows you to start turning your focus point most of the time when you're not laughing or you're not eating.
Lord.
Right?
Well, the worst thing that you could have done for me was sit me behind you, because like first of all, your techniques in the classroom.
What is that?
I'll be watching. She'll be sitting here like doing a little pen and doing all this and like doing papers. So I'm watching the show in front of me like.
It keeps me focused. And I had glasses too, right? So I was like super scholar glasses. So I had like this pen. So I'm really paying attention. This is like biomechanics, like physiology. You have to be dialed in.
You sure do.
And then sometimes, that
I'm watching the pen like this.
So he's kind of like, oh, that's really good. But then one time it hit my freaking glass. Remember? Oh my God. So I was like,
it didn't just hit your glasses, it cracked your glasses lenses.
Like, ping, and I was like, it was the worst. We lost it. So
and she turned, it's because you turned all the way around in class, looked at me dead on, it's like, did I crack my glasses? And it's like this crack.
Only on a higher frame.
Yeah. Like, I know you see that. You ain't gotta ask me. And I just lost it.
Yeah, for another pair.
Oh my goodness.
My meal money.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, I think that's amazing. Your parents clearly did a good job instilling that education is number one. And it can take you and open up many doors that could be closed. And I think you're a prime example, coming from Mexico, where those doors weren't open to you in the first place. But through dedication, consistency, passion, and hard work, I think you were able to break down those doors and any barriers, specifically, learning the culture and the language. So kudos to you, girl.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah. Without people that I care about that helped, you literally surround yourself with those people. And then you're like, wow, they're doing this. And you start to pick up great things from each other. Right.
Absolutely.
Start to have this team where it's like, if you're going maybe a little bit off path, hey man, let's tighten you up. And then, and that's good friendship, a good team support is.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And just tying it up at times and checking ourselves and checking each other, because it's never going to be like, oh yeah, I'm on the path. I'm good to go. It's, and it's like,
that's life. Right.
That's life, man. Yeah.
Up and down, left and right.
Yeah.
You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
So tell us about overseas. What was that experience like? I mean, you're going from Mexico to the States, now going to Europe.
Well, first we were orange. Remember?
What'd you say?
We were orange.
Oh. Yeah.
What in the world?
For some reason, our hair was matching. Both of our hairs ended up looking orange. Like they were orange.
We got a day off finally. Okay. Yeah, we had finally got a day off from practice, from games, from camps, from everything. And we go walking through the town and we're like, oh, there's a tanning booth. And I had never done a tanning booth. I mean, what? I mean,
we're ready.
Just go outside.
Yeah, so we stopped in the tanning booth.
We were in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we stopped and they're like, oh, this is something you can do, because
€6, man.
Or something you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both got out and we both turned orange. Our hair turned orange. I mean, it wasn't even tan, it was orange. It was orange.
But hold on, mind you, this professional over here, she did put those little things.
You got the eye things on.
She's like, I did it. No. She didn't make sense to me. She did it. And I'm like, oh, well, it says to put it on, follow directions over here.
Shadow, follow directions.
So I put it on, and then, so I come out, she just starts cracking up. I look like a raccoon.
Absolutely.
This didn't tan. And I'm like, how come yours didn't look? Oh, because I didn't put it on. Oh my God.
It didn't make sense. I was like, you're getting in a tanning booth. Why'd I put something on my face? I was like, I'll just close my eyes.
See, I was like, I don't want to burn my eyes through my eyelids.
So you were the raccoon. We came back to practice the next day, and people just looking at us like, what happened on your day off?
I know.
But yeah,
but besides that, it was a good experience. It really shifted because it was completely different than college, right? It wasn't like, okay, you're at a dorm, you have perfect meal plan. You could wake up at this time and then you hit your lifts and then you go back for practice and you could shoot some free throws. No, it's like perfect, right? No. Over there, our first night there, we were at a Germany army camp. Yeah, it's a military camp. We're sleeping in cots and it's like ding, 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 like this. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I can hear you breathe and you talk and flash your eyelashes and and then we ate sausages and crop for like, I don't know, a month. So when we so it was a very different experience with awesome people. And then a different ball game, right? You have all the girls there, they're very technical. Yeah. So they're going to beat you with technicality and defense. Absolutely. They're huge. Yeah. I was playing small forward, and I think one of their point guards was as big as our biggest girl.
I was about to say, they have 6-foot guards, easy.
They're solid. They're great. Yeah. And the extra step that they get to take.
Oh, yes. They get to kill you.
That was great.
You took full advantage of that. Extra step your way through every game.
You can see my feet.
I was like, this kid.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, that European step is awesome.
Wow.
I think what was crazy is that, like how you said, like basketball is a language, so we'd be standing in front of a group of kids at camp trying to explain basketball to these Germans. Or in French when we were in Belgium. Yeah. And we never used English. We just used, our hands and demonstrations and just kind of talked a basketball language. And then I'd be like, what is this? Because then a kid would come up and ask for more of an explanation or something. And I would tell them because they know English better than people would expect. Yeah. And I would explain it. And then they'll look at me confused. And then look at Chad, like, can you explain what she just said? And I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow.
She ain't even from where I'm from. I say it right.
That's different. She was my translator.
And then she would say it with her accent on it. They'd be like, oh. And I'm like.
It's because sometimes, it just sounded maybe just close to whatever they yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up because we had to teach quite a bit of kids and at different ages also.
Oh wow.
Ages, I mean, they were great, they were coachable, they were very respectful, like they were just listening and would do it. And it just there was times though where you had to switch it up on the spot, right? Because you could see their eyes just kind of like you're losing them, right?
Oh yeah.
And the cool part too is they would stay and watch our games when we would be playing.
Oh, that's nice.
It was a full-on day of camp and everything. And then we would play at nighttime, which that was pretty tiring, right? Like after a full
camp is tiring.
And then hit the game and they would stay and just the community was pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah, I think even crazier, like I was like, wow, they're like really supportive out here, is when we would play games on the road and we go to get on the train and kids who we had just like trained that week prior would always show up to the train station and like wave us off.
Oh, send off.
And it's like, oh wow.
How cute.
Nice.
It was crazy.
You feel nice, feel important in a different way than when you're back in college and everyone just comes and watch because it's a special night or something. Yeah, it went beyond basketball.
For sure.
Love it. Okay. Now, what about big entrepreneurship? Okay. You sitting up in the office. I see you tag with DRS Athletics. Tell us about it. How'd you get into DRS?
My baby.
Your baby.
Okay. Do you guys remember Bally Total Fitness?
Yeah, Dewey.
That's where I started my first internship as a personal trainer. Yeah, I was, I think 17 because I know I wasn't 18 yet because I couldn't do personal trainer, right? Because I was still underage. When I started that, even before, I just knew I wanted to do something to pay it forward. And I always wanted to help people. So I was going to go into med school and I was like, no, I don't want to be giving drugs things like that. How can I give it back? And when I started that internship, I realized that there was a lot of lack of good movement. And at the time, what I know now compared to then, right? It's very different, but I could understand that the health industry it was all money. They wanted me to sell this product. And I never felt good with that, ever. I was always against it. What can I do? Because I'm not fitting here. Physical therapy, great, but then you're not getting them back to normal movement. Personal training, great, but then you're charging $1,000 for someone that doesn't need to be paying that to be healthy again. So I was like, what do I need to do? So then I started just doing personal training, and then I started doing like park workouts. And I just started doing that where I needed to understand and grow by myself to be like, okay, how can I help people? I started teaching spin classes, aqua aerobics, and just working at Live Fitness and Equinox, and things just
wasn't a match.
Yeah. They always push the product and push the money, but not the health and wellness. Okay. And I was the other way around, right? So I went to college, got my degree, got all these different things, started learning more, and I always wanted to open a gym. And so I came across CrossFit. CrossFit at the time was very, very minimal in terms of like how it is now. And so I applied to coach in Huntington Beach. And this was through Facebook, right? So I saw a thing come up and I'm looking for a trainer, whatever. Send my resume, call me right back, come here on Thursday at 10 a.m.
Wow.
So it was going to take me 2 hours from Pico Rivera. Take my freaking old car. I was like driving.
Oh Lord, the hoopty.
And honestly, when I started seeing the difference on that, I was like, this is something that I really need to explore and learn and get into it. By that point, I had already been a strength and conditioning coach at Long Beach State. And at that point, I was like, something is missing still. You have amazing athletes here. I mean, you see them, the volleyball team at Long Beach State, basketball team, swimmers, water polos, and you're just giving them like this much of what you could give them.
Wow. Right? Yeah.
No, man, you gotta exploit those talents.
Right.
So when I got into CrossFit, it allowed me to come back around into the strength and conditioning aspect of all that stuff. And I worked there for a few, and then I was like, I need to go on my own because it needs to be more of my vision compared to like fighting someone else's vision. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met my great business partners, and we had the same vision. We had the same vision with business, but also with health and wellness.
Nice.
To be able to combine it. Yeah, because you cannot have one or the other. You have to have both, right, in order to thrive and to have food on your table as well. So yeah, that's how it happened. And we opened DRS about 7 years ago.
It's been 7 years, girl.
That's
big. I know. Can you believe it?
Congratulations.
That went fast.
That is awesome.
We opened 2014.
And you guys are thriving. You made it through the pandemic. That's when you know you're a winner.
Oh my God, I know, right? You guys did
too? Yep. We made it. Some deep breaths, but we made it.
Let me drink some water.
We made it.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you find yourself, and do you still till this day find yourself going through any cultural barriers, learning new things, especially in business? Business can be black and white sometimes. Are there any things that you find yourself like, oh gosh, let me learn more about this, or I didn't know this?
Yes, I think forever I will, just because in the type of industry that we're in fitness, health, wellness, and everything. Nutrition, I've been finding a lot more of that.
Okay.
I think because the nutrition side is starting to open up and everyone's a nutritionist, I've been having a little bit more of that. But I think I will always have it just because the background. But I turned my mindset around where it's a good thing to have that.
Okay, because absolutely.
It makes you unique and it makes you different than if I were just to blend in, right? Mm-hmm. And so unique is good.
Absolutely.
See it. So I literally changed that mindset. I think
love it.
A few years ago where I was like, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And those that will believe in that,
they'll roll with you
around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's okay not to be able to provide for everybody because then someone else will. Right? And when I changed that mindset, I was very much at peace with that. Instead of always kind of fighting it, right? Like an unfair type of game. It's like, no,
right.
This is how it is. And this is a great thing. And this is how you thrive. And then you just whew, took off. Yeah.
Look at that.
Dude, let's go. Yeah.
You found your uniqueness, you know, you found what made you special, and the people see that, appreciate it. And look, 7 years strong. That's remarkable.
The team is where it's at again.
Starts with people first.
Yeah. Your people is what keeps you up, and you get to bounce ideas back and forth. And, you know, you guys are like a core group where it's like, okay, you understand each other. There's going to be similarities, but also differences. And it's like, all right, well, what's our actual mission and vision?
That's it.
Okay. But that's the team. Team can't do it alone.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that, Chad. Oh my gosh.
Put in that shirt.
Inspiration.
I'll buy it.
Man, there's so many kids like in the inner city who will be able to resonate with your story. They're not coming from Mexico, but they have a lot of those same barriers that you experience, and some of those obstacles and challenges that you experience. And I think you are a perfect example to say it could be done. Yeah. Like I came over here knowing nothing at 13, not being able to communicate. But you keep your head on.
To those kids. And you know, it comes down to cultural, but also what about those kids that don't have the financial means?
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
We also came like that. We weren't loaded or anything like that. And it's like that struggle. A lot of people thrive off of struggle, but then again, you could change it to where I'm not thriving because I struggle and I had a hard time growing up, right? It's more like I'm thriving because I understood it. And I used it to be
your mindset.
Mindset.
Yeah, that mindset.
Kids are amazing. They just have to have that opportunity and the guidance. You don't know what you don't know. And then you guys are teaching more about stuff. Like you guys teach me still about ball, where it's like, oh, I didn't know that, you know, and knowing that if you don't know what you don't know, then you're just stuck here.
Right.
Start to open those eyes. It's like, okay, well then now that's reachable. Now I could do that. Now I could reach for the stars. But if you don't know where the stars are,
stay in your lane. Yeah. All right. Let's unlace her.
It's time. So we have a thing here we do at Unlaced Project where after we
go stretch.
No, you're good.
You stay right where you are. Okay. That after we've unlaced the story that makes you who you are, we like to connect it back to a shoe that represents you.
A shoe.
Okay. A shoe. Yeah, of course. We're going to unlace your shoe to you. So your shoe is, all right. You're the Nike Dunk Low What The. It's the What The by Paul Rodriguez.
Okay.
You're the what the, because when you're going through language and cultural barriers, there can be some what the moments.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what happened? So you're the what the. Also, just for a little comfort and whatnot, there is the Mexican blanket on the toe.
That kind of brings
that. Yeah.
That is super cool.
Right? Isn't that fire?
Wait, you see the Mexican colors at the bottom of the sole too?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, let's go.
Yeah, so that's all what the inside of that shoe right there.
Very nice. I like this, guys. So do I get these pair or like?
Yeah, just go online and buy them for about $800.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I just needed some guidance on where to go.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you know what you don't know. That's right. Thank you for the link.
You're welcome.
Yeah, tag it on the whatever.
Yeah, you can go at any time.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Chad.
I'd love to interview you guys next because your guys' stories will be awesome. I don't have podcasts though, because you know the time, but I would love to hear it.
Yeah, this takes time.
Are you guys ever gonna unlace each other's stories or full story? Yeah, I'm sure that's coming. Okay, cool. Can't wait.
Thank you, Chad. We love you. You have to come back. You the best.
Good luck with those shoes.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna go get those shoes. Thanks for having me, guys.